the man who helped keep the United States champion. Please help me welcome his family.
Jacob Fatu's massive betrayal against Solo Sikoa during an unbelievable backstage event. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got some truly surprising and heartwarming news from the WWE Universe. Jacob Fatu's shocking betrayal of Solo Sikoa, the backstage event that shattered the Bloodline. WWE fans have seen a lot of shocking moments over the years, but nothing quite like this. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most unbelievable betrayals to ever rock the foundation of the Bloodline, as Jacob Fatu, a powerhouse from the Samoan dynasty, has betrayed his own family in a jaw-dropping backstage event. This moment, shrouded in drama and tension, has set the stage for an all-out war within the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, the enforcer and right-hand man of Roman Reigns, now finds himself on the receiving end of one of the most shocking acts of betrayal in WWE history. What caused this unexpected turn of events? What does it mean for the future of the Bloodline? And how will this massive split affect the future of WWE? Stay tuned, because we're about to break down the story of Jacob Fatu's betrayal of Solo Sikoa, a backstage incident that is set to change everything. The rise of Jacob Fatu, a Samoan legacy. Before we dive into the betrayal, let's take a look at the man behind the shocking decision, Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is no stranger to the Samoan wrestling family. The nephew of the legendary Rikishi and cousin to Roman Reigns, the Usos, and others, Jacob Fatu comes from a lineage of wrestling royalty. His athleticism, charisma, and raw power have earned him respect in the wrestling world, especially as a major force in MLW, where he established himself as one of the top wrestlers in the industry. But Fatu wasn't always the standout star he is today. Despite his bloodline, he spent years working his way up the ladder, looking to carve out his own name. His path was one of determination, constantly trying to prove he wasn't just a product of his family's legacy. In 2021, Jacob made his WWE debut, stepping onto the scene as part of the larger Samoan faction alongside Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. His inclusion into the Bloodline was meant to solidify the dominance of the Samoan family within WWE. Fans were hyped for the possibility of seeing Jacob Fatu rise to even greater heights, especially with his natural charisma and ability in the ring. However, there was always a lingering question: could Jacob be the one to eventually challenge Roman Reigns for the throne of the Bloodline? Would the cousinhood break apart, as personal ambitions conflicted with family loyalty? Solo Sikoa's rise and the Bloodline's dominance. Solo Sikoa's rise to prominence within the Bloodline has been nothing short of meteoric. Known as the enforcer, Solo quickly became Roman Reigns' most trusted ally, and rightfully so. His ruthless style, imposing presence, and no-nonsense attitude made him the perfect addition to the Bloodline faction, a symbol of power and dominance that the WWE Universe feared. Since his debut, Solo has been a cornerstone of Roman Reigns' reign as the Universal Champion, frequently helping his cousin in matches, ensuring no one could challenge the dominant champion. Solo's loyalty to the Bloodline, however, wasn't just about winning matches. It was about more than that. He genuinely believed in the concept of family and protecting the Samoan legacy at all costs. That's why it was all the more shocking when Jacob Fatu's betrayal hit like a thunderclap. Jacob Fatu had always been seen as an equal, someone who, if he so desired, could have easily taken Solo's spot in Roman's inner circle. Some whispers backstage even suggested Jacob had been eyeing Solo's position for a while, but it all seemed like idle gossip, until it wasn't. But now, let's break down what happened the night everything changed. The backstage incident, the beginning of the end. It was a typical WWE SmackDown taping. The stars were backstage preparing for their segments, and everything seemed routine. However, the air was thick with tension, as rumors of a backstage confrontation between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa had been circulating. What went down was anything but routine. It all started during a meeting with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman in their private locker room. The usual strategizing was taking place, as Roman was prepping for his next big match. Solo Sikoa was present, as always, ensuring everything was running smoothly. But Jacob Fatu, who had been involved in a recent storyline alongside Solo, was nowhere to be found. Word on the street was that Jacob had been vocal about the lack of opportunities for himself in the Bloodline. While Roman Reigns was dominating WWE as the Universal Champion, Jacob was growing increasingly frustrated by his own position. He was tired of playing second fiddle, tired of being seen as just another member of the family. The breaking point came when Jacob barged into the room, confronting Solo in front of Roman and Heyman. "I've had enough," Jacob shouted, his voice echoing through the room. "You've had all the chances, Solo. You're in Roman's corner because he needs a lapdog. But what about me? When do I get my shot?" Solo, ever the calm enforcer, stood his ground. "This is about family, Jacob," he responded coolly. "You're part of the Bloodline. We rise together, or we fall together." Jacob wasn't hearing it. His frustration reached a boiling point as he fired back. "The Bloodline isn't about family anymore. It's about Roman's ego, Paul's manipulation, and you kissing up to the head of the table. I'm not going to be your backup forever. You're holding me back." It was at this moment that the unbelievable happened. Jacob Fatu, in a shocking act of aggression, shoved Solo Sikoa into a locker, knocking him off balance. The room went silent. Roman's face turned cold, and even Paul Heyman looked visibly uncomfortable. Jacob Fatu had just attacked his own family. "If you want to keep living in Roman's shadow, Solo, fine. But I'm done with it. You're nothing but an obstacle." The aftermath. Reaction and consequences. In the aftermath of Jacob's betrayal, the WWE locker room was in chaos. Solo, wounded but still proud, slowly rose from the ground. His respect for Roman's leadership remained intact, but there was no denying what had just transpired. Jacob had shattered the unity that had defined the Bloodline. Roman Reigns' reaction to the situation was icy. He had always seen Jacob as a potential ally, someone who could take his place one day. But this attack on Solo made it clear that Jacob had gone rogue, and that meant trouble. Roman, in his calm yet menacing tone, addressed the situation. "Jacob, you're making a huge mistake," Roman warned. "This is not the way to gain respect. This is the way to lose it." But Jacob was already gone. He didn't want Roman's approval. He didn't want to be the family's backup. Jacob Fatu had his eyes set on a different future, one where he ruled the Samoan dynasty, and no one would stand in his way. Backstage, the implications were massive. The entire locker room watched as Jacob stormed off, leaving Roman, Solo, and Heyman to process the chaos. The Bloodline was fractured. A war had begun. Jacob Fatu's future in WWE. Jacob Fatu's betrayal has now set the stage for what could be one of the most explosive storylines in WWE history. But where does he go from here? Many insiders are predicting that Jacob's next move could involve a dramatic solo run, challenging Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa head-on. Whether that happens in the form of a one-on-one rivalry with Roman or a major faction war, Jacob Fatu is poised to make his mark. But what about Solo Sikoa? How does he respond to this shocking betrayal from his cousin, someone he trusted as family? Solo's pride has been wounded, but will it lead